Most Android devs think the fastest way to get promoted is to sharpen their coding skills. And after leading teams for half of my career, I can tell you that's actually the slowest way. I've seen dozens of developers grinding harder and harder, only to watch their peers moving ahead of them and get more frustrated. In this video, we're going to talk about the skills and the actions that make the managers want to promote you. By the end of the video, you will learn how to start taking action today to climb the ladder much faster. You see, the biggest mistake that people do is focusing too much on their coding skills, which is the wrong thing to put all your attention to. Now, don't get me wrong, getting your coding skills ahead is definitely a great thing, and that's awesome for your career in general. But let's put into perspective the entire picture. How much of these skills are actually utilizable? So if you are only getting paid for your coding skills, these coding skills are utilizable until some certain point. You couldn't go ahead of that. And in that sense, we have to think about what are all these other things that you can do in order to get ahead of the others. So quickly, we are going to realize that coding alone is not going to help us much. The first thing I'm going to talk about here, and I'm going to give actionable points down the video, is getting more proactive. And in that sense, it's going to be very helpful for you if you look around you and get more aware of the context. Now, once you do that, you can start doing proactively things that are not necessarily planned work. So you can start doing actions that will help the business in general, maybe they'll help the team, and maybe it's gonna help individuals regardless. When we're talking about not necessarily planned but valuable work, I would like to give some examples. One thing could be introducing CI/CD pipeline. You see, it's one automation that will help the team in general to reduce a lot of manual work. That's something you can look into if you don't have it in place. And that's one example how you're helping the entire team. Another thing that you can do is maybe reduce the feedback cycle by introducing more tests, or maybe give feedback to peers. It doesn't have to be code, it can be feedback that you are giving to your peers. Another thing that you can do is maybe, if you are using the product that you are building, you can actually try it out on your own and figure out things that could be better for the user. Even though that is not planned, it's not necessary, it could be maybe a little effort for you to introduce something that will make the life of the users easier. And in that sense, you are making valuable work which wasn't planned. Another example would be replacing something that costs the business a lot of money with something that's cheaper or maybe free. And so to summarize, become a little bit more proactive inside the context where you are by paying more attention and think in directions of helping the entire team, helping individuals, and helping the business. What are the actions or the things that you can do to improve without necessarily being told to do so? That leads us to the second thing I want to talk about in this video, which is taking more responsibility. Now, all these things that I mentioned before are going to help you get more responsibility, which is something you need to get. And you do so by doing things that are of a high value and you aren't told to do. So don't do things for the sake of doing if they are not bringing any value. And that's why I'm saying you have to think about what actually is valuable, what makes the life easier of your customers or your business or your peers. Those are the things that are valuable. So if you're doing things for the sake of doing it, nobody cares. If you introduce a new library or do something for the sake of your learning, it doesn't help anybody. It's not valuable stuff. Think about the things that are actually valuable. And to figure out what are all those different things that are of value that you can start doing is by getting the third thing that I want to talk about in this video, which is getting feedback. I couldn't stress enough how important the feedback is. Many people are not utilizing the feedback. They're even having set one-on-ones with their managers, with their peers, and they're just not utilizing that properly. And sometimes they're not having that. Some companies are not organizing these things and they're not asking for this. Now, in both situations, you can fix the problem by simply asking for a one-on-one. And when you ask for one-on-one, that's the essential point where you can get feedback. And the shorter the feedback loop, the better for you, because the sooner you can figure out what are the things that you are doing good and what are the things that you can improve. Now, another mistake that is happening often in one-on-ones is that when people are coming to the one-on-one and they're waiting to be told to do something. That never happens. Instead, what you can do is you can ask the one who you are reporting to, or the one that is nearby. It doesn't have to be a manager that you are setting one-on-one with. It could be your peers too. And you can ask them, what do you want me to do better? What are the things that I can focus on to improve myself? What are your expectations from me? So these are the questions that are going to reveal what actually is expected from you and how you can excel. You can ask that. You see, it doesn't have to be complicated, and it's all about communication. When you ask these questions A true leader will only help you because they know exactly what you need to do and how you can do that. Because part of the role of the leader is to help the team members grow. To summarize, start getting feedback and try to reduce the feedback cycle as much as possible. And don't only get feedback, but try to offer feedback and give feedback to others too. That's an essential point, no questions asked. And when you actually give the feedback yourself first, chances are you're gonna get feedback in return as well. So we are getting back to the point that you need to become a little bit more proactive. And these are things that everybody can do. It's just about becoming more aware of the whole situation and acting upon. All right, now let's get a little bit more practical and look into some actionable steps that you can do. The first thing is you're gonna set a goal. Let's say in a year I wanna get there. Now, instead of you waiting for this year to pass, you are going to reverse engineer that year. What are the things that you need to do? And you get these things that you need to do by setting this one-on-one and getting some feedback. Now, when you know exactly or approximately what you want to do, you can break down the entire period, let's say that year, into months, months into weeks, and weeks into days. And now in each and every day, actually utilize a calendar feature and put a reminder. You don't have to do something like, full-blown plan. Just putting a little reminder and looking into it every day is going to help you remind yourself that, okay, what are the things that I can actually figure out today? Become more aware of the whole situation. And that's going to be more than enough for you to get started. To wrap up, block 1 hour of your calendar today, sit down and set a goal. And by when do you want to achieve this? This period that you have in mind, break it down into months, weeks, days, and put reminder into each and every day that you have to act upon. And another thing that I always want you to keep in mind when you're getting through this process is always try to under-promise and over-deliver. And always remember, you need to change in order to change. You won't lose weight by sticking to the same diet and to the same daily routine and activities. And the same thing applies here. Nothing will change if you don't start taking action and do something. Your career is your responsibility and you have to take it in your own control. If you need practical one-on-one hands-on support with all these things, find a link below this video and let's talk. I'll see you in the next one.